Welcome to a new video feature on the Marks Trains, Planes and Trams YouTube channel. We will be bringing you an occasional update, focusing on the changes and key developments to the British Airways fleet, with a particular emphasis on the long-haul fleet. Let's take a look.
If you fly the British Airways long-haul fleet regularly, or you're just interested in what they're up to, quite a bit happening, and I thought it's worth a video just to update people on what's happening. British Airways have had a challenging summer. It's been tight availability for their long-haul fleet. And a few customers frustrated because fitment of the new modern Club Suites seat within their long-haul aircraft has really not made a huge amount of progress. There's still a lot of aircraft flying with the old seats in. So let's have a look at that. Well, here we see the Airbus Beluga, which flew in on the 9th of September to London Heathrow, a very unusual visitor at Heathrow, bringing a component to fit to British Airways A350 Golf X-Ray Whiskey Bravo Charlie, which is an A350-1000 that's been out of use since April, and it was taken out of use after a collision between itself and a Virgin Atlantic Dreamliner, a Virgin 787. You can see here some photographs of that damage with the Heathrow Fire Brigade in attendance. The Virgin Atlantic Dreamliner suffered pretty superficial damage. It was repaired very quickly and returned to traffic after a test flight. Sadly, the British Airways A350 suffered more fundamental damage, and that component at the rear of the aircraft has actually been deemed irreparable and has had to be removed from the aircraft, with a replacement being fabricated by Airbus. That was what was put into the Beluga and flown out to Heathrow. So they're in the process of fitting that now. With 18 aircraft in the fleet, having one of those out of traffic is quite a substantial chunk of the fleet. Hopefully it can return to traffic before its 6-month anniversary of being parked up at London Heathrow. Well, one of the other things that's been going on is British Airways had sent in July its last 777-300 to be fitted with the Club Suite seats to its maintenance facility in Cardiff. Golf Sierra Tango Bravo Bravo, the final aircraft to get those. It's been on the ground in Cardiff for 2 months. Sadly, some rumours emerging that although it's had maintenance, it hasn't actually had the Club Suites fitted yet. The window configuration appears still to be the same as it was on arrival. Not had that confirmed. Be interesting to see what develops there. But another aircraft that British Airways could probably do with back in traffic, out of service for a number of months. But it will be good to get that last aircraft fitted. Of course, since it came out of traffic in July, there are no longer any 777-300s flying with the old Club World seats, but it'd be great to get that back in traffic. Now, British Airways was able to fit a few months ago its first 787-8 Dreamliner Golf Zulu Bravo Juliet Alpha with the new Club Suites, and that's been in traffic for some time, serving a number of the 787-8 routes. Pleasing to see at the very beginning of September, the second aircraft, which is Juliet Bravo, that headed down to Cardiff to the maintenance facility. And one hopes that British Airways can perhaps get this going into a regular production line now, where aircraft arrive, get fitted and depart, a bit like they were doing with the 777s during 2021, 2022. So the 787-8 program underway. Everyone's hoping it can get fitted. Here's some video footage from Cardiff, from the fitment and the production line of those 787-8s. Of course, after this work, British Airways has then got to get a 787-9 prototype done. It has to get the work signed off by the FAA. And that takes us on to 787-10s, which are the largest, of course, of the Dreamliner fleets in British Airways. The latest 787-10 off the Boeing production line, Golf Zulu Bravo Lima Juliet, has just been delivered to British Airways. That's the 10th of 12 aircraft in this batch with Rolls-Royce engines And many of you will be aware a further 6 787-10s have been ordered by British Airways, and they will arrive with General Electric engines. It would appear British Airways have lost patience with Rolls-Royce, are not particularly happy with the pricing that Rolls-Royce have put forward, and have decided to change engine manufacturer. Not a small decision for British Airways, ending up with aircraft of the same type with different types of engines brings complications around maintenance and spares and knowledge of the maintenance team and so on, complicates training for flight crew. But ultimately, British Airways has decided that this is the right thing. So after the last couple of aircraft arrive, later this year, early next, we'll see 6 engine fitments from GE on that batch of 787-10s. Well, less wholesome news is around the British Airways Airbus A380 fleet. During the middle of September, BA found themselves with 4 of the 12 fleet out of service, including one of the aircraft, Echo Juliet, which had just returned after 3 months out of use in Manila, where maintenance takes place under contract to a Lufthansa Technik. Clearly very frustrating for BA to find itself with an aircraft that it's just released for 3 months for maintenance, coming back in service from Singapore, which is where the aircraft generally get rotated, and then having to spend about 10 days out of traffic at Heathrow, having a rectification work taking place. During that time, there's been a number of cancellations of A380 services, cancellations to Dallas Fort Worth, to Washington Dulles, to Miami, but also a few substitutions from the 777 fleet, particularly on the Washington Dulles flights. The situation has improved slightly, but it's been a hot topic of conversation on a number of the social media channels. It's been picked up by a number of mainstream media. The Head for Points website ran a story about it, and subsequently been picked up in the Eye and by Simon Calder, who's a well-known transport journalist. So quite a few challenges there for British Airways with the A380 fleet. The media comments that British Airways made from their press office, not particularly helpful. But one hopes behind the scenes that's receiving quite a lot of focus, some leadership attention, because clearly many customers finding that difficult. And ultimately, these type of disruptions cost British Airways money. They're losing revenue. They're having to pay out compensation. They're having to reroute passengers on other airlines, and they're paying commercial rates for that. They're paying for hotel accommodation. All of that a challenge for British Airways. Hopefully, we'll see some progress being made. Progress has to be made. You know, British Airways is ambitious to grow its revenue. It's ambitious to get more services on routes where it feels it can make a good yield. And over the last few days, British Airways has announced its summer 2025 program. The headline of that is more flights from London to North America than ever before. I think that's probably right. They're offering a new weekly Miami flight that takes Miami back up from 1 flight a day to 2, so 14 flights a week, with a new BA lounge opening at Miami Airport. Austin, Texas gets an extra 6 flights a week, taking them up to 13 a week. The popular leisure destination of Las Vegas, fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, gets 3 Heathrow flights a week in peak season, in addition to the daily Heathrow and Gatwick flights. So that will be a new BA 271 and 270 with a 3-class 777-200ER. Pittsburgh goes fully weekly from 6 flights a week. Washington, D.C. goes from 2 flights a day to 3, so 21 flights a week. Another 7 flights each week. A daily rotation is added to the schedule for Vancouver in Canada, in addition to their summer flights from London Gatwick. And British Airways have confirmed that the new services they're launching this winter to Kuala Lumpur and Jeddah. They'll continue to run next summer alongside additional flights for Riyadh, and the service that BA provide to Doha is being upgraded, with one of the rotations gaining a 787-10. So lots happening, lots of positive news for next summer, but all those extra flights, although they're partially resourced by getting rid of services like Beijing, they're going to need quite a few extra aircraft. So British Airways are going to have to fix some of these troublesome aircraft that have been out of service. They're going to need to make sure that Boeing deliver on their commitments to those 787-10s, and they're going to need to get cracking and get moving through the winter on the Club Suite fitment for the Dreamliners and move on to the A380s. That's quite a big agenda for British Airways, quite exciting, lots of customer enhancements promised, but quite a lot of customer disruption in the meantime from some of those challenges I spoke about. I hope you found this useful. It'll be great to get your comments. Do give us a like if you found this interesting and informative. If you've got more information or any questions, please drop us a comment in the section below, and I'll catch you with another of my videos very soon.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and click the notification button so you don't miss any of the great trips Mark has coming your way on this YouTube channel.